This is the Sisterhood Society podcast, where three sisters talk life, food, fashion, kids, and everything in between. Become part of our sisterhood where everyone is welcome at our table. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sisterhood Society podcast. We are so excited to be back for another exciting episode. And I just want to do a quick disclaimer. I did visit the dentist today, and it looks like I had a stroke because the left side of my face is droopy. And so let me show you guys on YouTube what it looks like when I take a drink. You made me laugh and I spit out my coffee. Okay, so just for that, we should get some YouTube subscribers.
That'll definitely be the teaser clip.
Let's hope so. Today we're going to do a general Q&A or just like a catch-up kind of conversation. But before we start, sorry, I feel like it's so noticeable, but you guys are acting like it's not. I feel like I'm talking out the right side of my mouth.
It really doesn't. Like if you hadn't said it, I don't think you would notice. Like when you smile, it doesn't look weird.
I feel like it's drooping to the right. Like I feel like my mouth is like slanted. Have you guys seen that Kardashian episode when Kourtney goes to the dentist and like her entire left side? That's how I feel like I look. Okay, so hang on, I just bit my tongue.
Oh my gosh. Maybe we should have done this another time.
I should have given you more than an hour.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with what's good if Tara wants to start and try to make it not food related this week.
No fritters this time, Tara.
No cake, no fritters.
So I threw a last minute Memorial Day party and I love a good hosting gig. And so we ran to the store and of course I was like, one of Brian's friends was like, we'll be over, for dinner, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, I'll keep it simple, promise. Famous last words. And then it wasn't simple at all. Like I just had like a full on.
This is still about food.
It is about food, but I didn't eat. It's not about what I ate.
It's about what you made.
What I made. Yes. So anyway, we had a last minute Memorial Day party that turned out great. And actually the funny part is that I invited Whit and Isaac and asked them to come. And she was like, this is perfect because Isaac was just asking for cookout food earlier today. And I was like, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to be making you a full buffet of cookout food.
So Isaac had 2 plates full and he seemed satisfied.
He was very satisfied. He came home and thought he was going to eat my plate. And I was like, no, you're going to save some of that for me. But I did give him like the majority of it. Yeah.
What about you?
We were able to get the backyard kind of more in play. Oh my gosh, my brain is dying. Just more like readily available to sit and chill. So we were able to go get an umbrella because we get a lot of like.
Did you get the 10-foot one that Mom said she'd link to?
No, I got a 9-foot one. And then we got some stepping stones put in so the kids don't have to like traipse through the mulch, but Cheech still does. She doesn't understand the idea of stepping stones. And then trying to figure out different flowers to plant so that way it's not just like empty mulch. But yeah, we're able to like actually enjoy our backyard now.
Great.
Nice.
I went to the Coldplay concert on Saturday in Chicago, which was amazing. And I was saying of all the people I have seen live, I feel like Chris Martin is like the most intentional with the audience, like really makes you feel like appreciated. And does it sound like I'm talking funny or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Every time I do peas, it sounds like I'm going.
Your lips look a little funny when you do talk, but you don't sound weird.
It's like I'm like hyper focused on it and I'm getting really self-conscious. But I feel like he was the most intentional lead singer I've ever seen. Stop laughing at my lips.
You're like Coldplay.
I need to cover my mouth with my microphone so you can't see it like that. Okay. So that was it. That was my weekend. And we spent the weekend with Phil's family. Peas are hard. It was like spent. See how it's like inflating on this one side when I'm trying to say please.
Oh my gosh,
Watch when I
please.
say spent.
Fair,
It looks like my mouth is in a swirl. Spent.
Okay, so we're gonna do a Q&A.
Okay, great.
We submitted some questions on VIP and my personal Instagram and Royal and Reese, and we didn't really get any responses back. So
Well,
No, that's
you
not true. We
do
did
this-
get some.
We did get some responses back,
couple.
but you also just
I didn't give
threw
them a
that
lot. I
up
was gonna say I
like
did
an
not
hour
give
ago.
people a lot of time to answer.
Yeah.
So I found these conversation cards in my babysitter's car, and so I stole them, and I'm gonna put them back. But they
Just gonna use them
are
real quick.
they ask random questions, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Okay.
So we can start. Do you want to start with one from Instagram, and then we can like intermix these in? Of Kate's
This
lip.
is a good question, I feel like. Best closet organization tips for easy outfit creation by color, style, occasion, or something else.
Well, first of all, you have to have velvet hangers. I know that's not outfit styling, but the velvet hangers is a must so that your stuff doesn't slide off the hanger. I like to color code my closet as well because
Yeah.
I like to be able to see what I have. I feel like when it's all intermixed, it's hard for me to tell. So I start. It's not necessarily like rainbow color because I start with like white and end with black. Well, sort of rainbow colored, and then it goes like red, orange, yellow, blue, green. But I feel like that's helpful.
I keep mine color coordinated for the most part. I do not have velvet hangers. I don't like velvet hangers because actually Britt mentioned that she likes to be able to like pull them off the hanger really fast. That's me. I don't like the velvet hangers we have here. So I disagree on the velvet hanger thing. I do need the ones though that have the indents so things do stay on the hanger, but I do like having just plastic ones. Anyways, I have them color coordinated. I also have like my dresses in one section. And so other than color coordinating and dresses, I don't really do much. And then I have like my my pants. I have them folded on the shelf so I can see my pants. But yeah, other than that, I'm not really obsessive with like closet organization.
What's yours, Kate?
Oh, so as far as tips go, I put all my newest stuff in a section. So things I'm like most excited about. And I also put that at the end of that section, I put things that I haven't worn in a while that I want to wear so that it reminds me to wear it. So it's kind of like the section, like if I don't want to think through things in a hurry, I usually pull from my newest things first, as well as like things that I haven't been able to wear in a while that I would like to. And that's like a quick tip, I feel like, for putting outfits together, especially when you don't want a lot of thought. Like you can almost make like a favorite section. In general, we talk about this a lot though, but with your closet, if there's things that you find yourself passing over or being like, oh, I'll wear this when I've lost 10 pounds, or like this gave me joy 5 years ago and you're hanging on to it because it was like a special occasion or something, it's better to get rid of it and make space for things you know you wear and like want to wear all the time. And Marie Kondo always talks about like thanking the item for what it did for you. She was like that closet organizer, the Japanese closet organizer that was on Netflix. I read her book like years before the Netflix show came out, and she was saying like, if someone gifted you something that you don't use or don't wear, or you wore something for a special occasion, you think like, I should just hang on to it because I wear this to my brother's wedding, but you don't really like it or it doesn't fit anymore. She was like, you can hold the piece and have a moment of gratitude for the item and then release it out of your life. So you can thank it for what it did for you in that moment, but then like not hold on to it for the sake of it taking up space. So it's almost like you have to have like not a ceremony, but like a moment with the clothing, so that helps you mentally process getting rid of it, which I know sounds stupid, but I do feel like that helps if you're having a hard time being sentimental about certain things. And like, if I gifted you guys something and you didn't like it, or you wore it for, let's say, like a year and then it goes out of style, I would be annoyed if you kept it just because you thought I would be offended. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, get rid of it. Like, I don't care just because I gifted it to you, but I have a tendency to do that because I'm a people pleaser. So I feel like I would hang on to something because I feel bad that I was gifted it. And she's like saying like, no, enjoy like the fact that it was a gift and then move on. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a big thing that's a hang up in people's closet. is it your closet's probably too full of things you don't need or use anymore anyways?
I go through mine like once a season and I will I'll look at the stuff and say, did I wear this at all last season? And if it was never my number one choice to wear, it's not going to be my number one choice next season either.
Right.
So that's how I purge, because I'm like, oh, I still like this. But then it's like, well, I literally never chose it to wear ever.
Right.
And I usually try to like keep stuff, like I keep my closet relatively small. Just because we don't have a huge walk-in closet. And so I don't want it overpacked with things, but I do go through it regularly to say like, okay, have I chose to wear this recently? And if not, then I'm going to go ahead and, donate it.
Yeah, I'm not overly sentimental with any of my clothes. I think the only things that I have kept are my wedding dress, my like prom dress, the dress that I wore at our rehearsal dinner, and then like the shoes that went with each of those things. But like that's like literally all I've held on to. The rest of the stuff I'm just like, do I wear it? Do I not? Let's get rid of it.
Right.
Okay, another question was, what are your favorite shows? Obviously, Friends is the first.
Obviously.
Outside of that, what are some other ones that you've...
I feel like New Girl kind of encompasses the way I think things are funny.
Yeah,
like
I can see
my
that.
humor.
I just finished that one for the first time.
New Girl's funny.
I also just ended the series of This Is Us. That one just ended this past week. I really liked that one. I thought it was extremely well written.
That's one I actually have never watched.
You should. I think you'd like it.
I probably would, but I don't want to go into it knowing I'm going to bawl my eyes out in every single episode.
You don't. It's really not. Like, I feel like there's maybe an episode or two that is like a tearjerker, but the rest of it's not.
Was it Girl with No Job, or maybe it was Remy Bader that said that was watching the last episode, and they were like, I didn't know that the word hey would make me bawl. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but the fact that just the word hey made someone just like just sob, I'm like, that's
I
just
feel
not
like
for
the
me.
second to last episode is emotional, but the last episode is not.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought the whole series was really well written, because it's really hard to go forward and back, like flashback, and do it well. And they do it really well.
I will say Peaky Blinders, one of my all-time favorite shows ever. It is extremely vulgar and very bloody, but it is so good. It's like a historical timepiece, so I know that you would not like it. But the way it's written is so good, and it like keeps you guessing, and oh man, it's so good. Dad loves it, so you know that
you guys watched it?
Yeah. And there's another season coming up, and I'm just like, cannot wait, because they had to like put a pause on it due to the pandemic, and I'm like, I need to know what is going to happen.
It's funny. I love Game of Thrones, but it's not something I would like rewatch a lot, just because it's so like violent and also like heavy. But yeah, if I'm just like trying to turn on a show, it's always Friends or The Office.
The next question was, how do we, Whit and I do have work life and mom life balance, and how do we have time for ourselves? We kind of touched on this on a previous podcast, but I feel like we'll just, with the mom life balance, one of the things that we did this summer, which I actually printed off for Whit too, but we did like a summer bucket list, and we've been like, I'm letting the kids like pick 3 options off of it, and then we choose one of them to do. So that way I can just be really intentional with them this summer, since they're out of school, and we can be like more loose on bedtimes and stuff.
Yeah, and like work-life balance, I feel like I mentioned this before, but like wherever you're at, be present. And I'm not always super present, but I'm like with my kids, I'm usually trying to be there with them, like, or if they're on their iPads, I'm there in the midst of them. Like I'm not in the same room. And then if I'm at work, I'm at work, so wherever you're at, just be present in that moment, type of thing. Keep it simple and not overwhelm yourself.
Okay. So one of the questions on Instagram was how did each of us meet our husbands?
So Isaac and I, our anniversary was a few weeks ago, and I found out that, so the way Isaac and I had met, I lived in California at the time, but I came back to visit my friends in Illinois, because we used to live in Illinois, obviously. And the week before I came back to visit my friends, Isaac was over at Molly's house and saw a photo of me and was like, "Who is this?" And she's like, "Isaac, you know her. That's Whitney. Like, she's coming next week." And like, he said that he liked me from that moment on. Like, he saw my photo and I was like, interesting.
So it was even before.
It was before I was even here.
That's funny.
It was like he had already fallen in love with me. So I came back and he like wouldn't talk to me. And I'm not one to like go out of my way, but he had like rang Molly's doorbell and they were like, "Wait, can you go answer the door?" Because the rest of them were all like getting stuff done. And I was like, he can just walk in. I'm not gonna like go answer the door for him, which is so my personality type. So he waited out there for like 10 minutes and Kelsey's like, "Where's Isaac?" And I was like, "He's probably still at the door." So anyways, Kelsey went and got him at the front door. He came down and he of course is adorably cute, but I didn't want to be this girl that was like vying for his attention. So I was just like, playing it cool and not talking to him. He was not talking to me. And so I just was like, okay, this kid doesn't like me. That's fine. Then we went to this like drive-in movie theater. And on the way there, I got out all my mixed CDs. This is showing my age.
Was it just the two of you?
No, it was me and Molly, and then Isaac was in the back seat somehow. I don't know how that ended up happening. But so I got out all my mixed CDs and I had like Razor from Foo Fighter and like this B-side compilation of all these like Coldplay songs, which unbeknownst to me were Isaac's favorite bands. And he's in the back seat just like, "Oh my gosh, like I love these songs." And so I was like, okay, cool. We have like similar taste in music, which back then is a huge deal. Like when you're a teenager, you're just like, wow, okay. So anyways, long story short, after my vacation in Illinois, I went home. He ended up like IMing me, which this really makes me sound so old. But anyways, it's like the old version of texting. So anyways, we texted back and forth. And then he actually came out and visited me in California, which was really crazy. It was kind of awkward at first. And then before he went home, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I was like, this is going to be really strange, but I guess we're going for it. So we ended up dating for 2.5 years, long distance. And then I moved to Illinois and the rest was history.
I remember we went to downtown Disney to the Jazz Kitchen and nobody talked. So I made conversation with Isaac the entire dinner. And I was like, why am I carrying the conversation? It's like so annoying. And then Whitney was like depressed when he went home and I bought you the, what was his name? Devander Bandhart CD.
Oh yeah.
I went to Best Buy to cheer up Whitney and I bought her that money with my babysitting cash. And she was crying. She was crying on the couch and I was like, I bought you this to cheer you up.
Yeah, it was weird because I'm like, I'd never been in a relationship to begin with. And then doing a long distance one, I was like, there's no way this is going to work. So part of me was like mourning the loss of like what could have been. And then also like mourning the loss of like not knowing what was going to happen type of thing. So
and here you are.
Here we are.
11 years later. Is it 10 this year? No, 11.
We've been together for 18 years.
But you've been married. 11.
We've been married 11, yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Brian and I were set up with a mutual friend. So basically I had gone to high school with her. But she was like the class below me and she came to Calvary for like a couple classes. So we knew each other, but we weren't like necessarily close friends. And she reached out to me on Facebook and asked if I'd be interested in like meeting somebody from her church. So it was completely out of the blue. And I was super skeptical because 2 of my close friends had just recently set me up on blind dates that they went with me on the blind date, like them and their husband. We did like a double date and they were awful. Like both were terrible. The one guy at dinner said that he did drugs.
Gosh.
And then the other guy spouted off scripture at really weird times. And it was just like, it was real strange. Anyway, so it just didn't go along with conversation. But so I was skeptical to say the least about another blind date. And she told me that he was a twin, and that that she thought that he was a pretty decent dresser, and he seemed to listen more in church than his twin. That was how she described him. So he goes to church the next day, and she comes up to him and says, "Hey, I'd like to set you up with a friend of mine." And she starts scrolling through my photos. And so he thinks that we have schemed up this plan to, like, you know, go on a date with him. So he was kind of like standoffish to it. And he was like, yeah, whatever. She can message, you know, we can talk on Facebook or whatever. So the next day she sends me a friend request or a friend suggestion for him. And I thought it was him sending me a friend request. And so I had accepted it. I was in the middle of a meeting and then realized it was a friend suggestion. So it had sent the friend request to him. So of course he thinks I'm like Johnny on the spot with this whole thing after like her talking to her in church. And so he let me set for like 3 days. And I was like, this is really dumb. Like, are you going to like reach out? Or are you just going to like, you know, leave me sitting here on red or what? So I reached out to him. That was like Sunday. I reached out to him on like Wednesday and was just like, hey, apparently Chanel thinks we should meet. And so we start talking through instant messenger. And then that weekend we went out on our first date, and I had just gotten back from the lake, like with our cousin's trip and stuff. And so, and he was tired. So the conversation was not great. And it was really, I just remember stirring my drink over and over again and just like trying to come up with things to talk about, and had resorted to like 90s ISU basketball teams because we were both at ISU at the same time. And so as we were leaving, he his like infamous, he just was like, well, keep texting, and does this like thing with his thumbs. And I was like, wow, that was really cheesy. And so I walked away from the first date like just like I could really give or take. That was like just
I could take it
okay.
or leave it.
Yeah. But he asked me out on a second date like right away. And so the second date was way better. It was just like he was a totally different person. I don't know if he was just nervous or tired or both, but he was like a totally different person date 2. So, and here we are. The rest is history. 2 weeks into it, he invited me to go to the home run derby was in St. Louis. And so he wanted me to go along, and we'd only been dating for 2 weeks, and he spent like $400 for my ticket so that I could go with him. And I was like, huh, this guy actually must really like me. So yeah. And the rest is history. 5 children later. How did you meet Phil, Kait?
So Phil was actually friends with Whit and Isaac first, and I knew of him. And the first time I ever met him, technically, was at church. Whitney introduced us and said, Phil, this is my single sister, Kait. She's 18. Or no, you said, this is my sister, Kait. She's 18 and single.
Yeah.
And we both died a little and then walked away. And like, there was literally no conversation. It was just that. And then a year later, when I was 19, I had seen him like around. I was living in California that summer, nannying for a family that I nannied for like my entire life. And I thought he was really cute. And I started a conversation with him on Facebook, and I asked him a question I already knew the answer to, just so that I could like talk to him. And he was supposed to go to this wedding that I was also invited to. And I was like, maybe I'll bump into him there. And like, I was trying to think of ways that I would like see him this summer, because we didn't have the same friends like at all. Like, he went to Bloomington High School in town, and like none of my friends were from that school. So it was just like, I didn't know how I was going to cross paths with him. So I got back to Bloomington, and we had like 2 weeks before Phil was going back to Nashville. And I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that's what it was. So I'd seen at the pool. He was a lifeguard at State Farm Park, and I thought he was really attractive. And so I told all my friends that I was going to call dibs on him, like that no one could date him. And it was kind of this joke, and everyone's like, you can't call dibs on like a random guy. And I remember telling people once me and Phil had started talking, they were like, I can't believe you're talking to Phil Lawson. Like, that's so amazing. Like, he's so cute. And everyone was going on and on. But anyways, we had talked on Facebook like 1 or 2 times. He wished me happy birthday, which I remember being like a really big deal because we weren't even friends, and he wrote on my wall. And then he came over to hang out with Whit and Isaac, and then we were playing a board game that required one more person, so he played. And then the next night we hung out with a group of friends. Like, he just had to come again. And we were trying to settle which side of Watterson, the dorms at ISU's campus, was the entrance. And we were walking back and forth like over and over again. And there was like this big debate with two groups of people, which side was the entrance. And he wrote on my wall that night, I really enjoyed settling the debate or like spending time with you while we walked around like ISU's campus. And like to say that publicly, I was like, whoa. So then I was like scheming how I could keep hanging out with him. Do you remember, Whitney, we went to Jumani Java and we were sitting there trying to like formulate a text about how I could like hang out with him. And I was like, do I send like a smiley face emoji? Do I wait till like he text back? And you were like, I liked a guy before where I felt like I had done like all the pursuing and the work. And you were like, if he really likes you, he'll ask you to hang out. And so I didn't end up calling him or talking to him at all, because I was like, you're right. Like if he wants to pursue it, he will. And so he did end up calling me every single night that we hung out. Like he would call or text me, and we ended up hanging out like for 2 weeks straight. So Phil goes back to Nashville. And at this point, it was pretty obvious that there was like feelings there, but I had Isaac talk to him and ask him what he thought. And literally Isaac calls me and he's like, yeah, Phil thinks you're really cute, but he's not interested in long distance. And I was like, I'll change his mind about that. So I'm sure that Phil knew that was coming back to me. Maybe he trusted Isaac. I don't know. But it's all good now because Whit and Isaac were scheming on my behalf. But anyways, so we dated we were talking for like 6 weeks, and I was going to drive to Nashville with Whit and Isaac, but my car needed maintenance. And then our dad wasn't like really cracked up on me driving. He got really
Didn't
upset.
chase a boy.
Yeah. He was like, you're not going down there. You're not even dating. I pay for your car. Like he was just like, no. And which is kind of silly, but oh well. And he said, if this boy really likes you, he'll come to you. So I canceled my trip, and this is really weird, but I got really close with Phil's family before we were even dating. And Phil's little brother is 3 years younger than me, and he was tutoring me in math, which is even funnier. So I go over to the Lawsons on a Friday night because Jeff was tutoring me, and we would like order pizza and hang out. And so I'd been spending time with this family because we were like kind of talking. And Vicky goes outside in the front yard and she's like, you guys, I found the weirdest thing in the front yard. And I was like, oh, what is it? And I thought she was going to say like a bat or like a random like stray dog or something. And in walks in Phil and Blaine. And what's funny about it is Phil didn't have a car our sophomore year of college. So he had to convince Blaine to come home with him and use Blaine's car. Because Blaine's from El Paso, Illinois, which is like 15 minutes outside Bloomington or 20 minutes outside Bloomington. So he's like, yeah, I'll go home. So then that weekend, we like spent the whole weekend together, and he asked me to be his girlfriend and stuff. But that's like, it was just kind of funny because I felt like in the past when I had like boys in high school, I felt like because I'm really outgoing, it was natural for me to like want to pursue the relationship. But I just remember everyone was like, guys aren't dumb. Like they don't really play games. If they like you, they'll talk to you. If they don't, they won't. You know what I mean? Like
They don't forget how to use the phone.
Yeah, like they will, if they want to see you or if they want to talk to you, like they'll do the work. But Phil always said the reason that he thought that I was attractive, not only like by looks, was that I was talkative, and he's so shy that he's scared to talk to girls. And since I was like so outgoing, it made it easier for him because I like did all the talking. So even now I'll be like, why don't you talk? And he's like, I don't know. I just like listening to you talk. And I'm like, I could not have married a better match because I can talk. And he's like, I love listening to you talk. So that was really sweet. And then honestly, with everything in our relationship, he was always like very like thoughtful and calculated and stuff, but he did always like pursue everything. Like there was no forward movement on my part other than reciprocating obviously conversation and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make sure that like if this person really wanted to be with me, that they were making the effort and to show. And I was like, was it obvious that I liked you? And he was like, oh yeah, from like the first day. And I was like, really? I thought I was being more discreet, but I guess not. But he was like, no, it was good because a lot of girls don't make it as obvious. And then it's harder to like know how, you know what I mean, whether or not they're interested enough for them to pursue them. So, The most
And now-
embarrassing part of that story is that Jeff was a high schooler tutoring me and I was a sophomore.
I
He's
mean,
also got his degree in like aero engineering,
Or rocket
aeronautics engineering.
science.
Yeah.
He's a literal rocket scientist. So
Yes.
I guess it's not that embarrassing.
Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna go to the conversation cards. Let's do these rapid fire.
Oh,
Like
okay.
real quick. What was the best day of your life?
Oh, shoot. Kate, you go.
Recently, it was when I was in New York visiting Phil on the Jonas Brothers tour. We walked around Manhattan. I bought a book, got some coffee, and it was really great.
Yeah, recently it would be when Isaac and I went to IKEA without kids. There's something about like being able to finish off the dining room furniture, like get everything squared away, be like just us two and not have to like worry about the kids being the priority type of thing. And then eating our favorite meals. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say when we went to Chicago for my birthday and we hadn't planned anything, and so Brian was like trying to get us reservations and stuff last minute to everything. It was just like a really fun, like spontaneous trip that we haven't done. Okay, the next one is, oh, that's random. Hang on. If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
If family was aside,
Yes. Like if you could choose anywhere and it had nothing to do with career or anything else.
I think I would still choose Nashville. Or does
Really?
it have to be somewhere else?
It doesn't specify.
Give me
on the
whatever
card.
you want.
I would still choose Nashville.
Okay, I would have a few places. So I would obviously have a place in Alice Beach. I would obviously have a place in downtown Chicago, but in like the nice area, not like the scary parts. I would have a place on Balboa Island, and then I would have a place in Nashville.
I was going to say like
a very good job.
I was going to say
Hey,
like
we
Santa
didn't-
Barbara.
we didn't specify. Oh
Santa
yeah,
Barbara.
Santa Barbara
Santa
area.
Barbara would be
Yeah.
so fun.
Montecito.
I would choose California just because I love the moderate weather. I realize that I'm a weather snob when it really boils down to it. What are you glad that you don't have to do anymore? What's one thing that you're glad that you don't have to do anymore?
Breastfeed.
One thing I am glad about is so glad I'm done with school. I
Oh my gosh,
literally
yeah.
hated going to class. I hated reading. I hated prepping for tests. I loathed every piece of college and school.
Yeah.
My
Stress.
answer is so weird. I was going to say park outside because I have a garage now.
But seriously, how annoying would that be to have to like park
Yeah.
outside and then run in because Nashville is so rainy?
Yeah, I had a carport and it just wasn't the same as having a garage.
Tell us about a unique or quirky habit of yours. Is there one that you have that is not new? Or
We
that
just
didn't already
talked
say?
about this weekend that when I'm nervous or just I touch my hair a lot, but I also smell my hair a lot. Like Libby had a weird quirk. Like we were all saying like things that other people noticed us, and I touch my hair way too much in general. I know that I do that, but then I also go like this.
That's funny.
That is funny. I mess with my nails a lot. Isaac says if I'm deep in thought, he can tell because I am looking down at my nails, like going like this. I don't know why I do
That's
that.
funny.
I'm trying to think of one I haven't already said. I'm blanking on another quirky habit. I definitely have them.
At the end of something, if you don't know what else to say, you'll be like, yeah, so
I always
went
say
to this-
so.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You'll be like, and so.
Yeah, and then I have nothing else
Just
to add to it.
trail off.
I do. I just stop talking, but I always end with so. That is a quirky habit. It's a
And
good
when
one.
you hang up, you go, okay, bye.
Bye.
But I think
do
you
that.
get that from mom.
Yeah, mom
Yeah.
does that.
Mom, it's funny because I do this only with mom. Well, maybe I do it with other people. But when
It's
mom
my
walks,
endearing goodbye.
it is. When mom walks in a room, she always goes, howdy, howdy. Have you noticed that when she walks in a room, she's always like, really? And so now I started doing that, especially when I see her. Like if I get in her car, I'll be like, howdy, howdy.
Okay, the next one says, if you had one superpower, what would it be? Mine would be I'd like to be a fly on the wall.
Teleportation.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would love to be able to teleport.
Wade and I were just talking about this. Like, if you think about like how much of your life happens because of like being close proximity to people, but if you actually had the opportunity to live anywhere or do anything or meet any one person, like how different would your life be? Or we were saying, how different would your life be if you had grown up in like Connecticut versus Illinois? Like stuff like that.
I don't think I'd want to be a fly on the wall because I don't know what I don't want to know what people think of me. And I feel like that's kind of like reading people's thoughts.
Yeah.
And my therapist was like, what people think of you is none of your business. And I was like, you're right.
That's funny. What is your favorite season and why?
Fall, because I love the candles and I love like pumpkins and chilly night and just the vibes of fall, like opening your windows when it's not too hot. It's just like all like reading fall, cozy books, the movies. There's just something about fall, but we only get like 2 weeks of it because it's so damn hot here.
I was just gonna say, we literally, I would agree, but Illinois has chosen not to have fall anymore, so we don't get it.
Maybe 5 days of it. I think I actually like spring before it starts getting rainy. I do love fall actually, so it's they kind of go head to head in my brain, but I like spring because I like being able to come out of like that 6-month winter cloud cover and then get into all of a sudden like warmer weather before it gets like crazy humid here.
I do love like summer activities though. Like I think it's harder as an adult because you don't get to enjoy them since you're working inside most of the time. But like obviously as a kid, summer was my favorite. But I feel like the vibes of like CMA Fest happening it's like next week. Like they're like I think maybe being in the country music like industry has made me enjoy summer more because it's all about like country music is a lot about summertime. And so just like the vibes of like being on a boat or like going to the pool, it is hot here, but I think I can't tell, like maybe I'm just getting used to it.
I do like summer activities. Like I feel like there's always a little bit of an excitement for me with the kids like having that last day of school and like going into like having the summer free with no schedule and you can plan out what you want to do, and then always that like back to school feeling too, like going and getting new supplies and getting a new backpack, all that kind of stuff. I always remember that being so fun as a kid, and I want to create those same memories for my kids.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we will end on this one. It says, what is something you are really looking forward to?
I have two. I love my birthday. I don't know if there's anyone on the planet that loves their birthday more than me. And my birthday last year was terrible, so I'm ready to redeem it in the biggest and best way possible. And I'm also really looking forward to being a mom. So Phil just had his most recent test, so that we can like make a decision on IVF, and we should know this week. So I feel like it's weird to think that like if we do IVF that it could be any month now that we would be pregnant.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I need to lose some weight before. So I feel like I need to like this weekend I was just like, oh, I feel like such a marshmallow.
75 hard again?
I honestly like I think I would do it again, but we need to talk about when and how.
I'm just looking forward to this summer in general. I feel like last year I went into it with really good intentions, and then we just work-wise, it got really crazy and not fun. And I feel like we just spent the rest of the summer just surviving. Yeah. And so this summer I really want to like kind of like the summer bucket list is, I guess, just like a way for me to be able to stay intentional and just like stay on, not on task, but like to have something to constantly focus on to be able to do with my kids. So I'm trying to be better about work-life balance, but also just like really staying in the moment with them. Like I'm embracing shorts, which I haven't done in forever. And I know it sounds so dumb, but I haven't done that forever, but like but that ties back to like the intentionality with my kids, like just being out there with them and like sitting outside while like they're playing rather than being inside and doing something else. So just all of that. I'm just looking forward to, really having that time with them.
I am looking forward to our trip to Florida in November.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one too.
My kids will be at an age where they're a little bit more self-sufficient, and so I feel like I haven't been
we
in
won't
that
have to worry
stage.
about kids falling down steps.
Exactly. I don't have to worry about the kids falling down the stairs or falling into the pool or anything like that. So I haven't been in that stage in 8
A long
years.
time. Yeah.
So it'll be nice to just kind of finally be able to relax and not have to worry about all the whiny needs of little tiny babies.
The best part about me having babies last is you guys will be like excited to hold babies again.
Yeah.
And then I'll have people to help me on vacation.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually very excited about that because
We'll still have Delaney.
That's true.
I'm very excited about that because I love like little babies and how snuggly
Mhm.
they are. But I'm just glad that mine are beyond that point. Like they don't need me as much. It feels
Right.
a little bit more freeing. So yeah, be prepared for me to be stealing your child.
Yeah, I found myself in a weird stage where I was like sad about like being done with the baby phase. And then at the same time, it's like as my kids are getting older, I'm like starting to be able to really enjoy the ages that they're at because
Yeah.
they're so self-sufficient. So I feel like I've finally gotten past that. Like when I see other people having newborns, I'm like, I can be happy for them and not sad about the fact that I'm never going to have another one.
Yeah.
I think elementary school age is so fun because they're still so sweet and innocent and you don't have to worry about like dating and all the craziness I think that comes with high
Although
school.
you'd be surprised, there's the crushes are already starting. I mean, Britton likes the boy with the blue hair because it's so impressive.
It's so impressive.
I was already hearing them talk about like the boys that they like and things like that. So
I liked boys literally from kindergarten up. So
I did too. I think it was first grade. I started having crushes on boys. So
that's so funny. I think I did too, actually, now that you say that.
So I always think that they're like so little, but I'm like, oh, I was doing the exact same thing at that age.
But what's funny is Riv is not interested in girls, but he does get like embarrassed around them. So he's aware. Shy. Yeah, he's aware of them, but he isn't like interested in like liking girls yet.
He'll at least have Brecken to be like his intermediary to the girl he's interested in.
Yes.
Which will be helpful.
Yes, it will.
Well, isn't it weird to think that like someday, like maybe him and Genevieve might actually date?
Oh, that'd be
you know
so
what I mean?
Cute.
Because I mean, think about it. You probably would date somebody that you like went to school with, right?
Oh my gosh, he would be like getting the jackpot of like in-laws.
Yeah, but it is kind of funny because I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you would end up with like someone you went to high school with.
Yeah, it's true.
So, well, on that note.
Okay, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Sisterhood Society podcast. We're so happy to have you here week by week. If you enjoyed what you listened to, please give us a 5-star review on Apple, or you can subscribe to our YouTube or Rumble channel if you like the video version. And we will see you on next week's episode. Bye.
You guys.